All he can do is manage what he's capable of doing. That's by winning his remaining 2 matches. This one here, of course, his remaining match will be against Ronnie Carter.
Ronnie
Carter, although he can't qualify, group winner, won't be doing Ronnie O'Sullivan any favours, I shouldn't think.
O'Sullivan will have direct interest in all 3 matches in this session. The 2 he's playing in, and that middle match, Pang against Yuan. A draw in that for him would be just fine. Assuming, of course, he wins his other 2. We have had a group, though, already. A first phase group where someone topped the group at the end of it, having lost his first match 3-0. That gentleman was Stuart Bingham. And he's in finals day in a couple of days' time, having won his second group as well, a little more comfortably.
Yeah, Stuart was very, very impressive yesterday. We do lose initial match 3-0, as Ronnie O'Sullivan did, of course. You need a lot of help and luck along the way if you are to prevail. Complete contrast of styles here between these 2 players. Ronnie, I know it's very early in the season, but he's averaging about 13.8 seconds per shot in the matches that he's played so far this year. Opponent here, Pang, well, he's pretty much double that. His average shot time at the moment is 26.29 seconds per shot. That's reasonably pedestrian by today's standards.
Plenty of players have discovered, though, to their cost, that Pang is not to be underestimated. I saw him play in the Championship League 2 years ago. He didn't impress me in the slightest, and then as he got bedded in on the tour, he became more and more comfortable and more dangerous.
Well, he's certainly very good technically. That's one thing I'll say about him. The other thing I like about Pang is that he doesn't push the boat out. He plays very well within himself, doesn't play too many power shots or forcing shots that can go astray. What a clever operator.
Well, look at this from Zhao Xintong. He's taking this game to a whole new level of speed. And he makes it look ridiculously easy. He's 1-0 up on Wilson already, closing in on yet another century.
A full ball double kiss on that red would have been very helpful for Pang. Would have promoted the cube up the table further for the ideal position on the black, but as it's happened, he didn't quite double kiss the red as he'd have hoped to. If anything, he's tied the black up now. Look at the position of the reds. One mistake. Still be very costly with the pink in open play.
Pang Junxu, 1.
Spoke earlier about Zhao Xintong, the prodigious talent that he has. Ronnie O'Sullivan, I know, is a great fan of Zhao Xintong and gives him some advice and help wherever he can. Ronnie O'Sullivan, he doesn't offer his services free of charge to many players. He was enjoying a veritable banquet earlier of Chinese food with all the other Chinese competitors here and their friends.
Yes, he has a tremendous warm relationship with the Chinese contingent as a whole. They hold O'Sullivan quite correctly in very high regard, both personally and professionally. And that's why this is a big deal for Pang. It's his first ever meeting with the great man.
Yes, Ronnie, head of a lot of the major tournaments over in China. Of course, we don't have any currently because of the COVID pandemic, of course, but does do a lot of exhibitions out there and promotes the game wherever he can.
While Pang is mulling this one, I can tell you, in 6 minutes, Zhao has taken a 1-0 lead over Gary Wilson with a break of 123. The world is that young man's oyster.
Well, of course, Xiao Xintong did come to prominence, of course, winning the prestigious UK Championships. Great event to win, of course, as your first major, but back that up with some very, very good performances since then, of course. So players, when they win their first major, can struggle. Hammered with their achievements. Of course, all the focus and attention is on them thereafter. Xiao Xintong is hungry for more.
And the first world ranking title for Ronnie O'Sullivan was the UK Championship. And we tend to forget now, we call 25-year-olds young players. When he won the UK, he was 17. He remains the youngest ever world ranking event winner.
Five minutes or so ago, these Reds are in wonderful positions. Just look at them now. It's a dreadful frame, it really is. I think both these players would love to start this one again.
But Pang has unlimited patience. We've seen it so often over the last couple of seasons. He can score heavily, he can grind it out.
Surely hasn't left a gap through to a red here, has he? And he did do. It's a bit of a mistake from Pang. He ought to have covered everything there, but didn't.
One.
Ronnie's been very unfortunate. How on earth has that cue ball come to rest there?
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
We can't overstate the importance of this evening for Pang. If he were to make finals day, he would be in the last 8 of the tournament, and that would be the first time he'd been in the last 8 of a world ranking event. He's been in the last 16 on 4 occasions.
Just wonder what he's looking at here. He could play a safety shot off the two reds together, just to the right of the pink. Maybe top one of the two. He could swing the cue ball past those reds and the black. To be played perfectly, and my goodness it was. Appreciated by Ronnie. Look at this, tight to the baulk cushion. Where he was, that was quite some achievement. Has he left a red over the corner pocket? He has, and that's a little unfortunate. That gap for Ronnie this time has managed to get some sort of a position on a colour. Brown though is very missable.
It's the kind of ball, Tom, if he was in a flow, you'd fancy him to get, but first frame. They can go astray.
Certainly in a frame like this, it's become rather disjointed, but all of a sudden, Ronnie can knock that red in that's close to the pink there. Both pink and black will be in open play. Quite a few loose reds as well for Ronnie to attack. Oh, he's in off.
Foul.
Well, because of the angle he had on the red, he had to use the pink to screw back off, hopefully from his point of view, for a bulk colour, but you never quite know how a shot like this will react, and unfortunately for Ronnie, Keevil found the middle pocket.
Wanted the cue ball to run, and on this occasion it did not. Mind you, nestling in behind the yellow could be useful.
Yellow ball, thank you. Pang Junxu 1.
I thought that Pang, in potting the red on the thin side, he may have finished on a bulk colour. He could have attempted the cut back on the brown, but I did a snooker, Ronnie. This isn't an easy escape. Shouldn't be difficult to hit a red, of course. They're spread everywhere, but getting it safe is an altogether different problem. This is looking good. The pace is sufficient. It's not quite. Good effort.
Foul, a miss.
Found a way to get to this red that's just below the black. It's the ideal red to rest upon. If he does make contact with it, may leave a red that's possible to the right centre, but I think that's about as good as Ronnie can do.
Ronnie. Hi, thank you. Foul and a miss. Pang Junxu 4.
With sufficient pace, he would have been narrow on the first attempt, and he was narrow there. He's one of those players, Dominic, he doesn't look a great stylist, does he? But he gets the job done time and again. Very difficult to break down.
He looks to me, Phil, like one of those players that places a great deal of emphasis on his technique, his cue action, and all those things. And he can get on top of a player like Pang. He may have a few self-doubts, but he's one of these players that's better than he looks, possibly.
6.
Yeah, I think not possibly, definitely, having seen him play quite a lot. It's no coincidence that he can mix it with the best. Look at his first season. He reached the last 16 of 3 ranking events, which for a rookie is a really good achievement. And he beat the likes of Barry Hawkins, Stephen Maguire, Mark Allen and Ding Junwei to get there. Earlier this year, to get to the last 16 of the European Masters, he defeated Neil Robertson.
I was just about to say, to get to 4 last 16s of ranking events, you must be doing something right, and you must certainly have a great deal of skill and expertise. Really, he does have that.
13.
It takes years to learn the game properly in terms of break building and finding the right shot to play at the right time. He still is learning. Commentated on one of his earlier matches and felt break building wise there was a couple of shots he should have played earlier on than he did, and so I don't wish to disparage Hang in any way because he's very young, he's learning all the time. Certainly be taking something out of this match with Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, he was 22 in February. Hails from the Jiangsu province of China. But I agree with you, Dom. I think if he does have an obvious weakness, and it's not a weakness, it's just a comparative weakness, it might be shot selections when it comes to break building.
Junxu, 19.
So close to dropping, but now what an unusual looking table. 5 reds, all on the right hand side.
Wow, and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Oh, clearly that went completely wrong. Ronnie into the table, still 21 points behind here. We could do with bringing multiple reds into play as soon as he can do. So
1.
it could be that he tries to bring the 2 reds into play that are on that right hand side cushion and leave this red that's over the left corner, or right corner, I beg your pardon. Failing that, he could pot it here and screw into the 2 reds and develop them, expecting to be on pink or black into the left corner. That's probably what Ronnie will do, I expect. Oh, he tried to play the cannon but missed them entirely.
8.
Disappointed there, Ronnie. If he's on the yellow with a good angle, he's been very fortunate. Well, the perfect angle. Still hasn't finished nicely on a red.
10.
I'll tell you what, he struck that really, really well. There's a tendency on all tables when you play that shot down that cushion for the red to just marginally come away. Let's see if it did. Held a pretty good line, one has to say.
Just needed to pot the red a little thinner than he did. But this is the sort of frame that Ronnie is likely to win in the end against somebody less experienced, just because of Ronnie's knowledge of the game itself and the shot choices. that need to be made in situations like this. The remaining reds are tight and on cushions. Oh, wasn't that beautifully executed?
Exquisite line and length. Nothing spectacular in the second frame from Zhao Xintong on table 2, but it's the same result as the first. He started off with a big century that took 6 minutes to compile, and now he leads Gary Wilson 2-0.
Clever shot if he's hidden the red near the right corner by the pink. Good cue ball from Ronnie, but it wouldn't surprise me if he attempted to play that red into one of the other reds on this top cushion. Prevent it from going over the corner the way it has done. He's looked likely, but the cue ball cannon a secondary red there. That's a big mistake.
One.
The red nearest the middle pocket. Yes, it's very close to that pocket, but you need to be quite close in to knock it in with confidence.
Yes, and in order to get on a colour from it, dropping
8.
it in dead weight, I'd rather have the cue ball quite close to the cushion. I wonder if Ronnie
9.
will play here to leave the cue ball against that side cushion, so in potting the red, getting on the brown shouldn't be a problem. Is that a touch pacey? How easy
50.
is this red, and what pace can he play it at? Oh, it was okay in the end.
60.
So, 4 points the lead. If I'm mistaken, he's going to need the slightly tricky blue, not only the green,
20.
brown and blue afterwards as well to win this frame from here. Oh, that was a little careless, wasn't it? Where's it going to finish? Right over the pocket, I think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20. Two.
Isn't straightforward. He needs to be straight as possible on the brown. Get nicely on the blue.
Five.
He's played that really well.
Hasn't he just? What I will say though, for a left-hander, the blue is not on the best side of the table.
Nine.
That's why. Didn't try and get in behind it to pot it to the green pocket. He dislodged it. Perfect. Blue and pink needed.
$14.
Who would have thought?
First frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.